Who's more exhausted at being the mascot, Michael Irvin or Greg Cody? Because I'm watching that video and wow, he looks really tired singing that song. Almost as tired as Michael Irvin with the belt.
I would like to explore with America just the sad clown phase of Michael Irvin's career where he's I am wildly entertained by what he's been for 30 years, but he's been above this for a long time. Deion Sanders runs a whole program, and Michael's tired of being the mascot for this team because he thought he was going to end a couple of games ago. Now, it doesn't mean he doesn't love the program and that it's not totally sincere, because he does, and he cares like that. But at this point, he doesn't have this energy for just the repeat of the same act. I've just got a belt. It's cameras following me everywhere. Stop following me. I've always wanted you. This is too much. This is too many. Quit making me perform for you.
He didn't have anything special last night? Nothing new? Like, we should I want to relive this.
He's
I want to
60 years
let's see
old,
if he
guys.
brought any, advancements in the bit.
No, but he's an older person. He's tired.
He's 60.
He's been doing this for 35 years. He's been fame relevant for 35 years. And he does care about this program, and he's the perfect mascot for it. He really does care. I'm not making up the stories when I say he went to the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, look, all right, forgive me for a second when I go historic on this, because this is what happened to me yesterday was weird. I've rarely experienced in my entire career all the things I felt yesterday that had very much at the center of them school pride.
Love how you say it that way.
Well, but it's just like how many things are there in the world that you have a relationship with that is prideful? That is because you invested a bunch of time in that school and money, and it invested in you by birthing our entire careers here, because that program taught me to love sports, taught me to care about sports. And the only other time I felt like last night was when Jimmy Johnson lost with a clearly superior team against Penn State because he wouldn't stop throwing the football. And Jimmy Johnson, it's the worst regret he has. But his greatest allegiance, Jimmy's, wasn't to the champions in Dallas. Michael's isn't to the champions in Dallas. Their greatest allegiances is that they appreciate what this school built for Miami in this city to teach all the other people how to win. Michael Irvin was at the very start of that. He cares that way, but he's tired. He'd prefer to be coaching the team than doing this. You guys do understand that, right? Like, that this is Deion Sanders and Michael Irvin were fighting for the very same things 40 years of Florida football. It's the top of the food chain. It's crazy. It's best athletes you've ever seen keeping themselves famous for 40 years because it was Deion coming out of a limousine at Florida State. This is as good as sports can feel right here. And this team and this program is the one that helped us make it feel it. Like, helped us understand what that would feel like.
I learned a new name last night. And the funny thing is I've heard it a million times on the show and never put two and two together. But this Malachi Tony kid is pretty good, huh?
Malaki. You just noticed?
I just got that.
You've heard the Malaki sound?
I didn't know what that was.
I thought he was saying malarkey, but he kind of misspoke. And I was like, oh, okay.
You didn't realize that Greg Cody's expertise about Malachi Tony, who did like some wizard, you've got to make that a catch just on general principle because he was able to do that. Like, you've got to you've got to keep the ruling if that was a catch, and don't talk to me about the heel just on general artist principle.
Toe went down first. Come on, what are we doing here? Come on.
We all did the thing last night. I'm at my house with my wife, and she's like, whoa, what? It wasn't a catch. It ended up being out, but she the replay, what a catch. I'm like, kid's 18 years old. Should be a senior in high school.
Dwayne Wade won an NBA championship with the Heat before he was born.
So this program taught us what excellence looks like at the top of the food chain. And what I'm telling you, what Malachi Tony is unlike any player they've ever had. This is different than Santana Moss. This is different than Kevin Williams. This is different than Devin Hester, although Devin Hester's probably the closest thing there was to it. But Devin Hester was not this on offense. He was this on only special teams.
Not only that, offensively, what he's able to do from a blocking perspective as a guy who's undersized at his position is unreal. He's the best blocker they have on that team.
You're putting him past these legends? That's a move you just did.
I'm going to say this, man. Like, that was Tony, that was a play where he blocked for Fletcher, and I was like, he's 18 and he's doing that. Like,
set the edge on a linebacker.
Forget about the physicality as an 18-year-old to do that. the desire for someone who's that talented to say, no, I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to block.
Football IQ.
That's special.
Okay, but if you agree with the history and understand the history of Florida, right, and just how it is that athletes in this state have ruled football and made it matter and been a source of pride to the nation, and it begins in Miami and with the recruitment of Miami and kids like this, where you're like, okay, that sport requires its players to stay in school for several years because they don't have the man enough of a body to do the violence in the adult world. What do you mean a freshman is putting up numbers there that everyone knows the ball's going to him and you can't do much of anything about it, and he's jumping 10 feet in the air and is clearly an athlete that's being feared by all the other athletes, even though he doesn't look physically like he's very big. And
he's got braces.
And he looks and
He's a kid.
And he looks young. He looks young out there, except he's an electric power current, and you're watching in that game. So let's go over some of the details of last night's game because it was the flukiest thing. Miami was clearly better than Ole Miss, like just clearly and obviously better. And Trinidad Chambliss,
James,
everyone enjoyed the idea of him possibly coming back, and that fourth quarter was wild fun. And then Carson Peck at the end won Miami a game in a different way than they won the other two because they bought an expensive quarterback so that they could beat you a lot of different ways when the games came and the opponents were different.
Can we just talk about their decision to trust Carson Beck there when they had enough time? Everyone was like in the group chat, like they should be running the ball here, and they just put the ball in Carson's hands, and he responded.
The caretaking duties that Carson Beck, I don't know if you guys have read about some of the humanity to this, because the recruiter for Miami was quoted in an interview that Carson Beck was a broken human being, that was quoted as saying, I've never seen such a broken human being.
Wow, Mike said that?
Angry, mad at the world, lacking confidence as Carson Beck, and not wanting to come back to college because of whatever the experience was of being 18, 19 with a world of pressure on you. But what you just saw last night was 7 years of college experience. Like, that guy's been playing professional football for a while. His record, he's got 41 of those games, okay? He's won, 36 of them, and 16 of the wins are against ranked teams. Like, he's played in a bunch of these. We've made a professional quarterback a little bit faster than we used to make them, and he's being paid like he's the professional quarterback at the top of that food chain. You saw what Lane Kiffin did with Ryan Clark in the pivot yesterday, right? Did you guys see that?
That's not a new clip, but yes, it resurfaced. He did it when he was still with Ole Miss.
That's right. And Lane Kiffin was bragging, look at what I did to that kid. When you look at storylines in college sports and the business of it, the business of it that's been fairly shocking the last 5 years, so shocked that you are that Lane Kiffin would laugh. What does Carson Beck know? These people, these adults, can ravage these kids in the pursuit of these things. Like, Carson Beck was a young man and had his psyche challenged by what this sport requires. And in the biggest moment last night, when they needed him to be the most expensive player, he was. And while running the football when he could have gotten sacked, when all of us were saying, Mario, why are you throwing here? Are you lunatic? A sack? You want to get an interception? Like, why would you just not hand the ball off? It's the most common and easiest thing.
I was like, Mario, no. The championship game is when you do this, so we can have the greatest hit.
Close.
It was exactly what Chris predicted.
I
Like, no, it's too early.
cannot believe that Carson Beck had the wisdom to scamper to his left when he was sacked. If he decided to just roll out a little more to his right, he's sacked and it's a disaster. And you're looking at, why did they throw the ball there?
Especially when a couple plays before and a drive before, he had the pressure to the right side, and he had Marion running completely butt naked wide open on a crosser. If he just steps up and throws it to him, it's a touchdown there. So it was like the complete opposite. Learned from it, said, I'm going to run out this way and score a touchdown.
The play was to Tony because all the plays are to Tony because you know that Tony is.
I thought he had Tony. Like, there was a window for Tony, I thought.
But they wore that Mississippi defense down, man. And that prime
They had the
example.
ball for 45 minutes.
Ole Miss tackles.
But prime example would be on that Beck touchdown because that defensive tackle just collapsed.
I
Could not
heard-
get up.
I heard
5 seconds.
The Joe Zagacki call of that. The guy who I don't know, like the guy with Joe Zagacki
DBJ, come
yells in the thing. Go right, and he doesn't go right, he goes left because it was. That's crazy. That you hear the guy telling him to go
How
right.
disrespectful are you of Miami royalty that you just did
The
that
guy
to
with
the
them.
guy with Joe
Don Bailey
Zagacki? Like
TBJ.
Chris Cody, how are you a journalist and sitting next to your father and you don't know the legends in this market?
He said his initials. I don't even know Tony knew until Roy said
What
it.
are you dude?
He was offended behind you. I
was
at him.
sickened by that.
Look, Tony
I saw Josh Darrow on the sidelines.
Tony is Miami to its core, and what we're headed toward here is the most Miami Cuban championship. Tony is such a huge Indiana fan today. Like Fernando Mendoza against Mario Cristobal. This is two generations of very different Cubans. And Mario Cristobal would chew the face off of.
Rabid dog, Dan.
Of the Cuban Fernando Mendoza's birth after him. Cristobal, look, man. Cristobal's crazy.
But wait,
He's the best of us. He is the best of us as a Cuban man, more willful than all the other Cuban men, will absolutely be more man than you are a man always and forever. He's nuts.
There was one point where his eyeballs were about to come out of his head.
He did not want to be hugged after that.
Oh, yeah, that was
It's
great.
not done yet. This is a crazy person. Look, this is the best of us. Look, I'm not kidding you when I say if I could make a Statue of Liberty for the Cuban people in sports, it would be Mario Cristobal.
Wow.
Bug-eyed, crazed as a representative of our people and what they can do. No time for joy. Get out of my face. I'm going to go punch Indiana in the face. Where's that Mendoza? Where's that Mendoza so I can chew his face off and show him the younger generation doesn't know
Dan, we're on the precipice of the most Cuban campeonato ever.
They were doing
any sport.
cafecito before the game yesterday.
That's something they've been doing for a long time, which is a beautiful thing. I think everybody needs to get a little extra juice, right? That's what people aren't realizing. If you get the Cuban coffee right before the game starts, you have an unfair. You got a PED.
PED, yeah.
Absolutely.
We've
You've got
been
a PED
saying this.
situation.
You don't have to go poop? This happens to me.
It makes you run faster.
Trey Wingo's entire career was getting. You guys saw it happen at the Super Bowl. Trey Wingo's career was derailed by when he started having cafecitos around here.
Couldn't handle it.
He went too fast. He went too far, and he got addicted to them. And his career was never the same after that.
It's a shame.
Cannot believe that guy tried to hug Mario Cristobal during the game.
He's pissed. He's pissed.
How funny
that's legitimate.
Look,
that's not performative. He's
No.
legitimately pissed.
So, Tony, but you recognize this person. This is your father.
100%.
This is your father. You tell me, Tony, you're confident about a million different things. You tell me, how would this go, a fight with your father?
Not well. It's got the old man strength. He still grabs my wrist sometimes where I'm like, hey.
No, but it's not that. It's your father's got the chew your face off Cuban will that Cristobal has. It's a different generation of people. Look, I'm scared of Mario Cristobal. I've always been next to him at school. I went to school with him. I'm next to him, the critic, and he doesn't respect that.
You
He's
went to
like,
school with him?
Yeah, I went
Why
to
hasn't he been a guest on our show? He's a guest on every other show.
Zaz got him.
Well, because he looks at me and he's like, look at what this guy did with the Cuban stuff. He just criticized people and he's a clown and he makes jokes and stuff. Look at me. I'll eat your face. I'll go to FIU and eat your face and then work for Saban and eat your face. And Le Batard, I'll eat your face. And I'm like, yes, Mario, you would. You and your brother.
You got me.
Mario, you've always been tougher than I've been.
What kind of Cuban are you, Dan? He say, oh, Mario's this kind of Cuban. What kind of Cuban are you?
Can't tell if this is helping us get him or not get him.
This
on
is
the
the
show.
most Cuban. We're headed toward the Cuban Super Bowl.
We need Indiana tonight, Dan, in the worst way possible. Because Oregon, who cares about Oregon? Dan Lanning, who cares Dante Moore? Who cares about these people?
But isn't it crazy that Cristobal was the coach at Oregon, and probably there's like sports television executives all over the country like Oregon versus Cristobal versus former too. That's a good story, and we're here like, no, bring us the kid that went to the same high school as him.
Bring us the kid that wants revenge that Miami didn't recruit him. Bring us the kid that almost beat Miami last year with Cam Ward. And that's where we have the beautiful Michael Irvin on all fours. That's where the first
That's
time
where
it
it
happened.
started?
That was the Genesis, was the Cal game.
Genesis is here.
Is she? But we have that situation brewing now where Fernando Mendoza is one win away from shoving it back down Miami's throat if they can get to the national championship game.
Who were you performing Genesis is here for?
Crushed in this
I got
room.
laughs in that
For
room.
me.
I mean,
Had to stay the course there, Dan. A lot of laughter.
Well
back there.
done.
no, but I would like to, yes, Tony,
Strong
I
all
appreciate
fours
you
right there,
doing
bro.
the show for America, and I don't appreciate Amin doing the show just for himself. And
Not
you
for
guys,
me.
know what? No. I mean, that joke.
Was great. Better not be ruining.
Minor
comedy.
penalty, 2 minutes, delay of show.
Okay, that's fine. I'll take it.
You'll take it.
If you said ruining comedy,
You'll
you're about
take
to
it.
fight.
I didn't.
And I know I could beat you because you're not that kind of Cuban, apparently.
No.
You're
wait a
Mario
minute.
Cristobal. I'll be like,
wait a
oh,
What
my
kind are
bad.
you? Dan, what kind are you?
I know what kind are you.
Okay, look.
He's
you
my kind.
First, you get out of here. We're going to teach.
You a Jeremy or Cristobal?
We're going to teach America about Cuban Miami for the next week. You do not get these opportunities, okay? I'm just telling you, you don't. This best thing of ours in the history of the city, the thing that has created more personal pride in sports allegiances across generations. Miami was us against them, us against the world, own personality long before LeBron, Chris Bosh. Us against the world started here with this team and this Cuban Miami fractions of community where you've got black people over here, and the Cubans have never been allowed to play in this game because it's always Edgerrin James and Ray Lewis, and they're a lot better, and the Cuban quarterback has been held down.
Thank you, Dan. And that's the only point that I was making the other day when I was doing the top 5, and Dan was like, oh, systemic racism against Cubans. It's like, no, we've just never been good enough to do it, right? It's not. We've just been held down by our own genetics. That's been the issue. But now, Dan, now we're looking at the face of a very beautiful Fernando Mendoza, all the beautiful things about coming to America and Cubanism and everything.
Give all the glory to God.
And the voice.
No, see, so here, okay, look, I'm not going to start making fun of Mendoza yet. I don't want to be.
No, they
cruel.
haven't won
time.
yet. That's
There's
why
time.
they haven't won
You're
yet.
right.
Once they win,
No, but you're a big.
his ass is grass, Dan.
I want to give all the glory to God.
And I like him respectfully, okay? He's like, it would be a cousin of mine. But his ass is grass if they win.